Cody Rhodes says AEW television will be similar to what you see on Being the Elite. He also says Ty Dillinger, he's going to help Ty Dillinger fill up his soul. What the hell does that mean? We'll talk about it right here on OTS Extra. Also, former Impact Wrestling Women's Champion fired by Ring of Honor. Is she headed over to AEW? Brandi Rhodes follows Summer Rae on social media. Also, Brandi Rhodes signing Bia Priestly to AEW. When is she making her in-ring debut for All Elite Wrestling? Also, Joey Janella under fire for not booking any women on Spring Break 3 WrestleMania weekend, man. What is going on? I am JD. Thank you guys so much for joining me here this afternoon. If you enjoy what you see here, please hit that thumbs up and sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Follow me on social media, man. JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys follow me on both accounts. If you have both Twitter and Instagram, I would greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon, you guys know the deal. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Go and get your t-shirts, man. We are over 180 sold. Unbelievable, man. Make sure you guys go and get your off-the-script merchandise. JD's Elite, exclusively on bonfire.com. Link to where you can purchase your own is right down in the description below. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out, as well as all the other videos that you might have missed this week, man. Off the script last weekend was great. Can't wait to get right to work this weekend, giving you guys the news after a very, very busy WWE week. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Resident Evil 7 Part 8. Or Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 2 Part 8. I don't know why I keep mixing them up. It's Resident Evil 2, you fucking goon. Resident Evil 2 Part 8, man, where I have another boss fight with William Birkin, Stage 2. The boss right before the final boss, man. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out right there on the channel. Links will be in the eye that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Let's get right into the AEW news. Gonna start off with Cody and AEW television. He says it will be similar to what you guys see on Being the Elite. Now, he recently spoke to Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet. Cody went into some detail about what fans can expect from AEW's weekly television show. And it sounds like fans could get an idea by simply watching Being the Elite to see what they've done so far. He says, and I quote, does Cody, when I look at Road to Double or Nothing, I look at Being the Elite and how similar they are. And I want that to be a part of television. Those mediums we're heading into with Double or Nothing. And if we're working on that, then we should continue something in that vein. So if we get to the situation you're talking about, weekly TV, we want to stick with what works, and we want to appeal to the fans who have put their trust in us. And a lot of fans have already done that. That, to me, is really important. So to answer your question, I could see those things being a big part of All Elite Wrestling. Now, we all know that Being the Elite is big for the guys on their YouTube channel, and it's a way to sell themselves, it's a way to gain headlines, it's a way to build storylines for whatever they got going on right now because they don't have weekly television yet. I don't think he means the way that it's shot is going to be similar to what you're going to be seeing with AEW television when they have a TV deal, which I am predicting will be TNT TBS in October when SmackDown moves to Fox Sports. But I honestly think it just means, or what Cody is trying to say, and what he means here in this interview with Pro Wrestling Sheet, is that there's going to be a lot of that humor that you see on Being the Elite on their weekly television shows. There's going to be a lot of cross-promotion. You're going to see the television show and Being the Elite as one. You're going to see stuff on Being the Elite that you're going to see on the weekly television show and vice versa. I don't think it really means that AEW television is going to be shot like Being the Elite. It's going to have a major influence over television and vice versa, but that's where I think Cody is going with all of that as far as AEW television goes. I'm excited for it. I'm sure you guys are as well. And we all know that they're sarcastic, they're funny, they're humorous, they have great charisma and personality. I think that is going to translate very well to AEW television. And the fact that Cody is really in tune with what the fans want, or the Elite is really in tune with what the fans want. They want to stick to what works, and we want to appeal to the fans who have put their trust in us. To me, that is really important, he says. That is the most important line in that entire interview segment that Ryan Satin and the guys at Pro Wrestling Sheet did with Cody, man. Fans first. Make sure you take care of the fans first. Give the fans what they want. If you do, people will come back for more time and time and time again. And then on top of that, obviously, you got to appeal to the new fans, which I think they're going to do by bolstering their roster with major names and names of the past, so that when the casuals are watching at home, you're flipping through the channel, oh, Chris Jericho's on TV, and then you're going to be more prone to sit down and watch what Chris Jericho's doing in 2019. Jericho, AEW, who's this AEW? It's going to work out for them in the end. I'm excited about what they have coming as far as television goes. Former Impact Wrestling Women's Champion, recently released by Ring of Honor. Now, Impact Wrestling has been the home for many top stars. If you look up and down the WWE roster, it looks like Impact Wrestling, and it's a great thing, man. I love to see people finding success after getting their feet wet in Impact Wrestling. Now, while Impact Wrestling, you know, they had Madison Rayne in the Knockouts, and she had that title on 5 occasions, did Madison Rayne. She was also in the Mae Young Classic. She was also in the All-In event with that Fatal 4-Way featuring Tessa Blanchard, Chelsea Green, and I believe Britt Baker in that Fatal 4-Way, the women's match on the main card. But Madison Rayne was with Ring of Honor, and PW Insider is reporting that Ring of Honor has released Madison Rayne from her contract. This was confirmed by multiple sources. There were backstage issues, apparently, with creative, and the two sides could not come to a contract agreement. She was not happy with the company, therefore she was let go. It is said that there's no hard feelings between the two parties, and it was a mutual understanding to release Madison Rayne. Therefore, the parting of ways was very civil. Now, with Rayne freed up, only time will tell where she will go next. Being that Brandi Rhodes is in signing mode for her women's division, I believe All Elite Wrestling would be the perfect destination for Madison Rayne, being that she was a part of the All-In show. There's no reason to believe why Brandi Rhodes would not want Madison Rayne. I don't want her to come to the WWE. I don't really find anything special about Madison Rayne to begin with anyway. I know she was in the Mae Young Classic. She didn't really impress me in her one showing during the Mae Young Classic. WWE's got so much talent right now that they don't know what to do with it. People are on the back burner. We don't know when people are going to get their chance in the WWE. It could be, you know, taking Madison Rayne. She could be sitting there for a couple of months before we even know what she's going to be doing. You know, there are people ahead of her, and it's definitely one of those things where I don't think she's going to find great success in WWE. I honestly think her great success would come if she signs with All Elite Wrestling, and they need to bolster that women's division. I think that's a great get. Someone who's a veteran of the industry, someone who's been doing this for quite some time, someone who still has a name as far as women's wrestling goes. I think that would be a great get for All Elite Wrestling, and we may end up seeing her at Double or Nothing. So we'll find out soon what the next move is for Madison Rayne. Speaking of their women's division, now, I would not take this too seriously. Things happen on social media because, you know, there might be something there. There might not be nothing there. But I found out through other means, through other people in the community, that Brandi Rhodes just recently followed Summer Rae on social media, on Twitter. Now, I don't know if that means anything. I know Summer Rae really isn't doing much of anything right now. She's, you know, she does the modeling, and I think she was doing some ESPN stuff as far as football goes. Not really doing much of anything right now. She was let go by WWE. I honestly looked at Summer Rae as someone who didn't really get an opportunity in WWE to prove what she was worth. WWE looked at her. She was an attractive blonde, you know, and they put her with whomever. You know, they put her with Rusev, they put her with Dolph Ziggler. She was nothing more than a valet in WWE. But I honestly think Summer Rae had the potential to be a decent wrestler in WWE, and we never seen that. So Brandi Rhodes just recently followed Summer Rae. That could lead to something about bringing Summer Rae on into AEW. I mean, they did the same thing with Goldberg, and we haven't heard anything from that since. It could just be that Brandi Rhodes just wanted to follow Summer Rae on social media. I don't know. Maybe she wanted to slip into the DMs and talk some business. It could be any one of those things. I don't know. It could be nothing. It could be something. But that is that. Now, I heard a rumor, too, that Tony Khan followed Alicia Fox on social media. I looked, and I couldn't find anything relating to that news. So that might have just been bullshit spread by some of these fucking irrelevant YouTube channels. But the other big signing that AEW had this week, Bea Priestly, she is now signed with AEW. She's also the significant other of Will Ospreay, and she is joining the AEW Women's Division. This was actually announced on AEW's Road to Double or Nothing series, episode 5, and it was filled with newsworthy revelations. Jericho obviously was on this episode saying that his involvement legitimizes the company, takes them to a different level. He acknowledges with great power comes great responsibility. He is the biggest star in AEW, which is not false, and he elevates everyone else, and he is the reason fans will give AEW a look. The man is not wrong. I mean, he might be sounding a little cocky and prickish, but that's Chris Jericho, so I don't find that to be all that surprising. Jericho also hyped up his match with Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. He says it still bothers him that Kenny won their first encounter at Wrestle Kingdom last year. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom. Omega is the best wrestler in the world, but Jericho says he's the greatest of all time. So they're really, setting the stage for that rematch at Double or Nothing. On the other side of the fence, the women's division, AEW Chief Brand Officer Brandi Rhodes announced a new partnership with Culture City to make Double or Nothing Pro Wrestling's first ever sensory-inclusive event. There are many wrestling fans with medical conditions that prevent them from experiencing live events in a comfortable way. Through this partnership with Culture City, fans with autism, PTSD, strong anxiety symptoms, and stroke survivors will be able to enjoy the show with assistance that caters to their individual needs. That's great. I love the work that AEW is doing to appeal to everybody, and this is only a good thing for the entire brand as a whole. Brandi also announced that there is a new signing to the AEW's women's division. Bea Priestly, she is based out of the UK and has wrestled for various promotions, including Stardom. She will make her AEW debut in July. Here's another newsworthy revelation. In July, so we now know that July will have Fight for the Fallen presented by AEW. That show will be taking place in Jacksonville, Florida, and will benefit the local community to those who have been affected by gun violence. I love this signing. I know WWE was all over this. They wanted her for NXT UK or NXT, whichever they sought was a better fit for Bea Priestly. But this is a great signing, man. She's been wanted by literally every promotion, from WWE to Impact to Ring of Honor. So this is a great get for AEW. It really shows everybody in the wrestling world that AEW is not really playing around. And the more we get signings like this joining AEW, it's going to be even better for AEW in the end, because a lot of people in the industry are like, oh shit, they passed on us to go to AEW. It's only going to be a good thing, and it's going to show everybody that AEW really means fucking business, and AEW is the place to be. Or the place that people want to be because they believe in the fucking product and the brand, and they haven't even gotten a fucking ring yet. So it's great. And I love this signing because I'm not too familiar with her. So when I'm watching AEW, I'm going to get to see someone that I've never really seen extensively before. And one of my favorite things about watching pro wrestling is finding new talent and really, really seeing what they're made of. And then if I love them enough, watching their growth throughout their career wherever they are. I think this is a great signing, and who knows? Will Ospreay and Bea are a significant pairing there. Their boyfriend-girlfriend. Maybe this could swing when Ospreay is done with New Japan to come on over to AEW. I don't know. I might be just talking out my ass on that, but Will Ospreay seems to be comfortable in New Japan as of right now. But this is a great signing for the women's division, and Brandi's doing a great job so far at bolstering that division before Double or Nothing. Speaking of significant other, Joey Janella has no more significant other. He and Penelope Ford are no more. So if you guys are in the Penelope Ford bandwagon and you want to slip into the DMs, she's single. But Joey Janela says this is an on and off thing. They've broken up like 6 or 7 times before. They spent Valentine's Day together, so I would not really take this as a serious thing, but as of right now, they're really not connected in any way as far as a relationship status goes. So there you go. Joey Janela is a part of AEW. Joey Janela also came under fire this week for not booking women at his Spring Break 3 that takes place during WrestleMania weekend. Now, Janela is hurt. We don't know when he's coming back. I know that he and MJF could have something going on in AEW. I don't know if Janela is going to be ready for Double or Nothing. I hope he is. But the diagnosis on his injury was worse than what was anticipated. And I believe back towards the end of last year, he gave like at least a year for him to get right back into ring shape. So Janela right now, in his absence from wrestling, is working on his Spring Break show. And it looks like it will be another successful venture. I believe it's almost sold out, if not sold out already. People go crazy over this thing during WrestleMania weekend. But people have been criticizing him on social media for not booking any females on this year's Spring Break. Now, Shazza Mckenzie. Now, I don't know if that name is familiar to you. I know I've seen her and heard her name be thrown around on social media. She's very, very big-mouthed. And she's an Australian firecracker who really wanted to be part of Joey Janela's Spring Break show. Now, Mckenzie is coming into the States for the spring, and she has a lot of those dates already filled up. And there is room for more, and she wants to do Spring Break 3 with Joey Janela. So Mckenzie cut an online promo on Janela, saying that she will be showing up to his next Spring Break event whether he likes it or not. Then Janela replied that he's not booking any women, but he's not sexist. You know, throw that little nugget at the end of that whole tweet. So this prompted Mckenzie to say she found it hard to believe in this day and age that a big indie show won't have any female performers. So Janela replies, no room for any women. There's no room for any women. And then Shazza Mckenzie says, I don't need you to have room for me. I'll make room for myself without your permission. But sure, you're not a sexist. So Janela has said for months that he is trying to book 0 women on the upcoming Spring Break event. He also has stuck to his story that he is not sexist. Now, Shazza Mckenzie, who appeared briefly for a cup of coffee on NXT's television show in the past, started the Genoe, Genoe. Oh my fucking goodness, man. It's been one of those mornings already. Hashtag she started, Joey Janela is a sexist on Twitter. So as of this report, Mckenzie was the only one to use said hashtag in a tweet. We will have to wait and see if this does happen and she does invade Spring Break, because she's been in intergender matches before on her own. Now, I don't know if this is real or not. This probably is just to create a buzz on social media, and I could see this being a thing where she does have an intergender match. I don't know if it's going to be against Janela or not. It would be great if he's healthy, but I don't think he is. This may lead to some sort of storyline for an intergender thing at Spring Break 3, so he's like, I got room for you on Spring Break 4, and we'll talk about it then. So he doesn't want anybody to push the sexist agenda. We have no room for you this year or any women, unfortunately. I'm not a sexist, so don't push that agenda. Maybe Spring Break 4, he says. I honestly think it plays into a storyline. I don't think anybody has the balls enough to not book a female talent, because someone is going to say something stupid and they're going to cause a shitstorm on social media, even though it's not as serious as people want to make it out to be. If Janela doesn't want to book a female talent and he's got a legit reason not to book a female talent, then what's the fucking problem? He says that he's got great nostalgia falling into his lap. Janela's not an active wrestler right now, for the time being. Right now, he's a businessman. He's got a show to book. So if Janela has this great nostalgia falling into his lap, and he feels that nostalgia is going to be able to sell tickets and fill out a venue completely and make money and have a great night for himself, what's the big deal? You got to cut your losses somewhere if you're going to have women's wrestling on the show for the sake of having women's wrestling on the show, and it's not something that really is interesting to people. I would gladly replace that with something else that's really going to draw the crowds in. It's not that big of a deal. One show is not going to fucking be the end-all, be-all for someone to be a sexist. He's got a business to run. But in my eyes, I honestly think it's nothing more than a storyline. I don't think Joey Janela is that stupid to have that type of, I guess, reputation on social media. I know he's a prick for whatever reason, you know, whether he fits his character or he really is a prick. I don't know. But to me, honestly, this is nothing more than a storyline because I don't think Janela is that stupid to just have that type of reputation on social media where everybody thinks he's a sexist. Then nobody's going to want to work with him. So I honestly think it's just all a storyline right now for Spring Break 3. Cody Rhodes promises to fill Ty Dillinger's soul up with enough resources. Whatever the fuck that means, man. I don't know. When Cody Rhodes left the WWE, he had a lot of discovering to do on his own. He had some people help him out, which is exactly what he wants to do with Ty Dillinger. As Cody Rhodes spoke to Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet, he said that he loves Ty Dillinger. Cody said he was signed to WWE because he was Dusty's son, and Dillinger didn't judge him at all. Instead, Dillinger helped Cody, and the two became a tag team in OVW. Cody then promised to provide as much help as he could. Rhodes said it was funny because his sister just texted him asking if AEW was signing Ty Dillinger. Cody said it was more important for Dillinger to go out on the indies and do his thing and fill up his soul. End quote. Cody said the conversation right now isn't about signing with AEW. Of course, that conversation can always come later on. I fully expect Ty Dillinger to be brought in by AEW. Cody's not going to do anything right now in the 90-day grace period that Ty Dillinger's sitting at home, relaxing, collecting his thoughts. Obviously, he's planning his next move. But Cody's not going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to sign Ty Dillinger. He's going to be at Double or Nothing. He's got a business to run. You got to have some shock factor for that over-the-budget battle royal. And I honestly think that's going to be the right decision and the perfect spot for the man perfectly, the man formerly known as the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. I think that would be a perfect 10 as far as a debut goes in All Elite Wrestling. So Cody Rhodes is not really going to let the cat out of the bag. Clearly he wants Ty Dillinger. If he didn't want Ty Dillinger, he wouldn't have reached out to him on social media giving him words of encouragement. So if Cody is doing this thing and he thinks so highly of Ty Dillinger, there's no reason to believe that Ty Dillinger is not coming on into AEW. He's definitely coming on into AEW. Just got to give it time. You can't throw all your chips on the table. I mean, you can't really go literally Double or Nothing. You got to save some surprise for the show. Ty Dillinger and that over-the-budget battle royal that they announced, it's going to be a perfect debut for the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Confirmed matches so far for AEW. We got Omega and Jericho. We got Cody Rhodes and someone yet to be announced. They've been teasing it on Double or Nothing, the road to Double or Nothing. SoCal Uncensored versus SEMA. And that is going to be also a card that includes Hangman Page versus Pac. Dr. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray, the other big signing for All Elite Wrestling. And the over-the-budget Battle Royal so far. Winner, we don't know what the winner gets. The last time we had one of these Battle Royals, the winner got an open challenge, or the winner vied for the Ring of Honor Championship on the same night of All In. So there you go with that. Right now, Double or Nothing is being fleshed out quite nicely. Finally, guys, Arn Anderson fired from the WWE after an incident with Vince McMahon. Now, we don't know what happened here, but Dave Meltzer touched briefly on this. He said on the Wrestling Observer Live that there was an incident between Vince McMahon and Arn Anderson recently that involved an issue at a WWE house show. Anderson took the blame for it, which is why he was fired. Now, he says, and I quote, Arn got fired. It was an incident. I mean, everyone is pretty much keeping quiet about what it was, but it was an incident with Vince. I know people who are siding with Arn. I know people who are siding with Vince. I don't know the whole detail of the incident other than it was something that took place at a house show that was evidently handled poorly, and Arn took the blame for it. Arn and Vince were not on really the best of terms. There have been a lot of situations over the years, and another one not too long ago. You know, the thing with Arn is he's well-liked by key people. Triple H, he was John Cena's road agent, and that was pretty much the end of it. End quote. This was a pretty big shock for pro wrestling fans and WWE superstars within the company. Arn won't have much trouble finding a new employer if this is exactly what he wants to continue doing, because I'm sure Cody Rhodes would scoop him up instantly and bring him to the AEW team. But it was also said that the release of Arn Anderson had nothing to do with his upcoming StarCast appearance. I don't think it had anything to do with it, but I think it's a small, minute reason as to why Vince McMahon has been edgy as of late. He doesn't want his WWE superstars to be affiliated with anything having to do with All Elite Wrestling. It's a bad look on the company, especially if you are a contracted employer. Maybe during All In, it didn't matter. But now that AEW is a real deal promotion and they're going to be direct competition for WWE in the United States, now it's a problem. And it all started with The Undertaker going over there and doing a 3-hour block for StarCast. It's got to be a reason why WWE hired Bruce Pritchard away from Conrad Thompson as well. Now Bruce Pritchard is the new yes man of Vince McMahon, head of Raw Creative on Monday nights. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, Vince McMahon, if he didn't like Arn Anderson from the get-go, and you're hearing all this news about WWE bringing in producer after producer after producer, they did a whole thing on YouTube. They showcased Abyss, they showcased Shane Helms, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Sean Daivari, all these new producers that are coming on into the WWE. If Vince McMahon didn't like Arn Anderson, he probably felt like Arn Anderson was expendable. Look at all these new guys coming in. I don't like you. You're doing StarCast. You fucked up. Goodbye. One thing led to the other. He wasn't on Vince McMahon's good boy list. He was on Vince McMahon's shit list, and he let him go. Vince probably thought he was expendable. Now, that doesn't mean Arn Anderson can't be hired or rehired back to the WWE. I know there was something that happened with Fit Finlay not too long ago, a couple of years back, where Fit Finlay was fired, ended up being brought back to the WWE because it was a spur-of-the-moment type decision. He had The Miz go out and interrupt the national anthem, just playing up that he was a heel character, and there were servicemen in the audience, and they took it to be a great disrespect. And obviously they took it up with WWE and Vince McMahon, and, Vince went to who planned this entire segment, and he fired Fit Finlay right then and there. I mean, this is the same guy that fired Jimmy Jacobs for taking a fucking picture with the Elite. If he doesn't like you, if you're on his shit list and something like this happens, goodbye. Especially if he has somebody in mind to already take your place. So, I'm not saying Arn Anderson can't be rehired by the WWE, but it looks like WWE doesn't have any room for guys like Arn Anderson, especially Vince McMahon. If he didn't like him, goodbye. I'm sure Arn Anderson's going to find great work in AEW if this is exactly what he wants to do. And, it would be silly for Cody Rhodes to not just look at Arn Anderson and want to take him on in. I'm sure the guy's filled with knowledge. I'm sure the guy can make your company better by talking to the young guys and giving them all the knowledge that they need, telling them, exactly what needs to be done. I think that would be a great move for AEW. So we'll see, man. Arn Anderson fired from the WWE. We don't know what happened with the incident or what the incident was. I'm sure we'll find out as the weeks move on into the spring and summer months, man. But that is all I got for AEW today. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. If you did enjoy the video, please hit that thumbs up, man. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell. If you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. And please go get your t-shirts, man. The new JD's Elite. Now exclusively on bonfire.com. Let's try and get over 200 before we get into March, man. I'd love it if you guys can do that for me. Bonfire.com, link is down in the description towards the very top if you guys want to go buy yourself a brand new, beautiful t-shirt courtesy of Off the Script and Bonfire. And make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week, man. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Off the Script last weekend. And we got Off the Script coming on Friday, which I will see you guys right back here for Friday afternoon, Off the Script, episode 263. You don't want to miss it. So please make sure you tune in when Off the Script goes live, man. Thank you so much. Remember, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow for OTS 263. I'll talk to you guys later.